Okay, so guys, what are we doing is, see, we are seeing that, okay, the stomach is something like this. What am I going to do is I am going to take one small portion. Okay, so this small portion from the stomach, okay, this region. And now that, oh no, oh, what has happened now? This in Zoom, now I have like, updated this. But the problem with this is like, now whenever somebody messages me, it does not show me any kind of a notification. Earlier, it used to show me notifications. Okay. Okay. So anyways, no issues. Okay, so guys, now what happens? Let's try to see. Okay, so I am going to take one small section of this stomach. Okay, so let's say this section I am taking it, and now let's try to zoom in and let's try to see what are the different layers that are going to be seen out over here. Okay, so guys, the first thing is right on the outside. Okay, now we're going to go from outside to the inside. Okay, so on the outside, guys, you are going to see there is going to be one entire region, something of this sort. Okay, this is the outermost kind of thing. Guys, what do we call this outermost thing? This outermost region, this is called as your serosa. Okay, take it. Chalo. So serosa. But now, guys, what is this serosa going to be made up of? So you are going to see that this serosa is going to be made up of your squamous epithelium, guys. Okay, squamous epithelium. Now, guys, always remember, when do we have squamous epithelium? When you need maximum amounts of absorption taking place. Okay, because squamous epithelium is going to be semi-permeable, like single layer, right? So that is the time. Okay, and always remember, squamous epithelium helps to maintain moisture. It is going to prevent drying up, prevents, gives you protection and all. So all that thing. So guys, what we are going to see out over here. So first thing, this, okay, this is your serosal layer only. Okay, guys, and please pay attention. Okay, what is this serosa going to be made up of? This is made up of squamous epithelium. Okay, but now, guys, the moment we go a little onto the inside, what are we going to see? We are going to see that, you are going to see one connective tissue as well. So we have serosa. In the serosa layer, you are going to see squamous epithelium and your connective tissue. Okay, this is going to be the outermost thing, guys. Okay, this is going to be the outermost thing. Okay, but now after this, guys, we are going to see the second region on the inside. Okay, now this second region, guys, we call it as muscularis. Okay, now see, as the name suggests, muscularis. Okay, what does this mean? It means it is going to be muscles. Muscularis meaning it is going to be made up of the muscles. That way. Okay, so now let's try to see how is that going to be. So let's imagine, okay, from here until here, you have the second region, muscularis. Okay, so now what is the difference? Let me just show you. Okay, so here, what are we going to see in this entire muscularis region, guys? We are going to see that first on the outside, we are going to have longitudinal muscles. Okay, now longitudinal muscles, I am drawing them straight. Okay, longitudinal muscles. So you first, okay, now longitudinal muscles, what are they going to do, guys? They help in peristalsis. They help in passing the food in the straight manner, that way. But guys, along with this, what else are you going to see? See, we have longitudinal muscles and we have circular muscles as well. Now, guys, I'm just drawing this as circular so that you understand. Okay, you remember this thing as circular muscles. Otherwise, it is going to be just like your normal muscles only. Okay, so you're going to see these circular muscles. Now, guys, what are these circular muscles going to do? They help in contraction and relaxation. Contraction and relaxation. Because see, guys, your gut is going to show you. Gut meaning your entire alimentary canal is going to show you peristalsis. Right? And in order to have this peristalsis, see, first what is going to happen? Some part is going to contract, then it is going to relax. then next part is going to contract, then it is going to relax. So this contraction thing that is happening, so that it moves like a wave, this thing is going to be because of the combined efforts of your circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles, guys. Okay, everybody getting this thing? But now, guys, there are one more muscles which are going to be attached out over here, and these muscles, they are going to be your oblique muscles. So let me just show you these things. Now, guys, you know what? These oblique muscles, they are going to be present in your stomach, but then these are going to be absent in your intestines. Okay, so this is a characteristic of your stomach. So we have the oblique muscles. And now, guys, all these three things together, this is going to form the second layer, that is muscularis. Okay, chalo. So first region was serosa, second region is muscularis. Okay, but now, guys, after your muscularis, we are going to have another region which is going to be behind it. So we call that region as submucosa. But now what are we going to see in the submucosa, guys? Let's try to see. Okay. Okay, so let's imagine, see, this is the next region, the third region. Okay, and this is going to be our submucosa. Okay, submucosa meaning what? It is below the mucous layer, below this thing, mucous layer, because on top of this we are going to see the mucosa. Okay, so on the top we have mucosa, and this is below the mucosa, so submucosa. Okay, and now, guys, let's try to see what is going to be seen in this thing. See, guys, your alimentary canal or your stomach, it requires huge amounts of blood vessels. So all those blood vessels, they are going to be embedded in this region, submucosa. Okay, so you're going to see the blood vessels. Now, along with this, what else are you going to see, guys? You are going to see lymph vessels as well. So blood vessels, let's say these are your lymph vessels. Okay, and along with this, guys, you have sensation. So for sensation, you are going to have these nerves as well, guys, like this. Okay, so this is how it is going to be. So, guys, in your submucosa, what are we going to see? First, this is embedded with blood vessels. Second thing, this is going to have your lymph vessels. And third, guys, we are going to have your nerves. Okay, very important. And guys, remember this diagram you need to know in detail because of two reasons. One, it is going to be asked in your exams so that you draw it. Okay, and the second thing, guys, they are going to ask you to label stuff, and in your NEET exams, guys, this is generally asked for labeling. So if you don't know this TS, zopak, you are not going to be able to attempt these kinds of questions. And guys, remember, this is to just the start. Okay, after this it is going to be a little bit more difficult, meaning you are going to see more names coming out over here. Okay, so we will see how it is going to work. Okay, chalo. But now first, okay, so after your submucosa, now on the top of this, we are going to have your mucous layer. But now your mucous layer is also going to show you a few different things out over there. Let's try to see how it is going to be like. Okay. So guys, now what happens is you are going to see that on top of this thing, on top of this, this submucosa, now the first thing you are going to see some muscles present. Okay. Now guys, these muscles, what are we going to call this thing? These muscles, they are called as your muscularis mucosa. Okay, because see, this is muscles present in the mucous layer, right? So this becomes muscularis mucosa. Okay, on the top of this muscularis mucosa, guys, now you are going to have lamina propria. Okay, so lamina propria, guys, what is this? This is going to act as a base kind of a thing. Okay, because on the top of this, once again, you are going to have certain cells. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so once again, guys, this is going to be nothing but lamina propria. Okay, fine. And guys, now on top of this, finally, what are you going to see? You are going to see your epithelial cells. Okay, and now, guys, you are going to see the columnar epithelium out over here and all. Okay, at some places, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, okay, all those things. But now, how is this going to be? Let me just show you guys. So, on the top of this, ultimately, you are going to see that, oh, we are going to have your epithelial cells. They are going to cover this entire part, right? But now, guys, when they cover this entire part, they are going to create this folds, and these folds, guys, of the stomach, these are known as rugae. Okay, but now first let me just show you how these epithelial cells, like the columnar epithelium and all, is going to be present. So see, I'm just showing it this way. Okay, guys, and always remember, each and every cell has a nucleus out over here. It becomes very difficult to show a nucleus for each of them, but then understand that each of them is having a nucleus inside. Okay, so see, guys, something of this sort. Okay, but now, guys, our job is not yet done. There are a few more things that we need to know. We have to zoom in into this one rugae. This one thing is called as a gastric pit, and we need to see what is present in the gastric pit as well, guys. Okay, so finally, guys, this is going to be your epithelium. Okay, but now, guys, see all these three things together. Okay, all these three things together. Now, what are we going to call this thing, guys? This becomes our mucosa. Okay, everybody getting this thing? So this is the actual structure. Okay, so I'll mention this thing, that these folds that it is going to generate, the folds of the stomach, these are known as rugae. This is how the structure is going to be like, guys. So guys, just have a look out over here, just see if everybody is okay. And in the meanwhile, what I will do is I'll try to show you one image which I had downloaded, so you can get an idea of what we are actually doing. See, guys, this is how it is going to be like. Okay, so once again, the same thing, whatever I have drawn out over here, guys, exactly in the same manner. See, first of all, see, if you see these folds, what are these? These are nothing but the rugae. Okay, let's try to zoom in into this. See, guys, first we have the peritoneum. Peritoneum is nothing but a region. Basically, it's like a layer which is going to be connecting it to the outer body walls. So that. Okay. Next, you are going to see that we have the serosa, then muscularis, submucosa, mucosa. Okay, now in this thing, see, once again, we have the connective tissue, then epithelial cells, they haven't shown longitudinal muscles, circular muscles, oblique muscles. Then in the mucosa layer, the blood vessels, lymph, and your nerves, they have missed that out over here. Okay, then in the mucosa, we have muscularis mucosa. Okay, then we are going to see this epithelial cells, the lamina propria, they have missed once again. Okay, and then we have this thing. Now, guys, what we have to see? We have to see this gastric pits. So basically, this openings, not these are the openings. So we have to see what are these gastric pits. So we will zoom in into this now. Okay, everybody getting the hang of this thing? What is happening, guys? Sure. Quickly message at least yes or no, guys. Okay. 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 So first, guys, what I want is just have a look. Just see if you are okay with this. Or 1 minute, I'll just zoom in into this. Say, okay, and a little zoom out. Okay, just see if you want. Compare both the things, guys. You will get a complete idea of what is happening. Okay. Remember, in this diagram, there are a few things missing. I have just added everything out over here. Okay, so guys, now we need to just zoom in into that and we need to see what is going to be present inside that gastric pit. Okay, and how is it really going to appear? Okay, so what I'm going to show you is sorry. Okay, I'm going to show you one more picture, like how it is really going to appear. Okay, but before that, let me just quickly like show you how we are going to zoom in into this thing. Okay, let me just show you everything, then we'll zoom in onto that picture. Okay, so let me just quickly pull this thing, the same thing. Okay. Okay. Now, guys, I'm going to show you a small version. Okay, so let me just say that. Okay, so it is like this, and now I'm going to zoom in onto the gastric pits. Okay, let's try to see what really happens. So, guys, what are we looking at right now? We are looking at this entire region. Okay, so this entire region, this is now known as your gastric pit. Now, why gastric pit? Because it is going to produce some different juices, different gastric juices, gastric enzymes, which are going to help in digestion. That is why these are going to be known as your gastric pits. Okay, now let's try to zoom in. So, guys, I'm just going to zoom in into that part. Okay, so let's say we have this thing. Okay, now what are we going to see, guys? Okay, now first thing, okay, so let me just take care. I will just okay, chalo, ठीक है. Okay, so now guys, let's imagine we have something like this. Now, the first and the foremost thing, guys, what are you going to say? We are going to have certain cells out over here. Okay. Now, see, there are going to be different types of cells which are going to be present. I'm just going to label them like, one by one, one by one, one by one. Now, the first types of cells which are going to be a little on the larger side and generally found towards the tip, okay, towards the top of your gastric pits. Okay, now what are these ones, guys? These ones are called as your parietal cells. Okay, parietal. Okay, take it. Okay, so these are known as, guys, parietal cells. Okay, but now these parietal cells, guys, they are going to have one more name. What do they have? They have oxyntic cells. Okay, oxygental cells. Okay, okay. So parietal cells or oxygentic cells. But what are they going to produce? There has to be something. So guys, these are the ones which produce your dilute HCl. See, in your stomach, you're going to get HCl, and the HCl is going to help in breakdown of your food and activation of certain enzymes. Right? So that HCl is produced by your oxyntic or your parietal cells. And plus, guys, what is this also going to produce? Another important thing it produces is that it produces intrinsic factor. And this intrinsic factor, what is this ultimately going to help in? It helps in the production of your vitamin B12, guys. Okay, so this is the job of your parietal cells or your oxyntic cells. Okay, fine. But now, after the parietal cells, guys, what are the other types of cells that you're going to see? Now, throughout this thing, you're going to see that they are going to be lined by some mucus cells because this is going to be producing mucus. Okay, no matter what, your entire alimentary canal is lined by mucus cells. So everybody is going to produce your mucus. Okay, so always remember that. Okay, fine. So now this thing is done. Let's try to come down a little bit. Okay, now okay, now let's try to come down a little bit and let's try to see. Now, as we come down somewhere out over here, guys, you are going to see some other cells being present like this. Okay, now what are these cells, guys? These cells are called as chief cells. Okay, chief cells, or these are also known as peptic cells. Oh my God. Now, see, guys, there are so many names out over here, but you need to remember it. I'll give you a little way how to remember this thing. Okay. Now, peptic cells or chief cells. Now, what are they going to produce? See, peptic cells, pepsin. Okay. So, in your stomach, we are going to see this enzyme called as pepsin. Okay, which is activated with the help of HCl. So pepsinogen gets converted into pepsin in the presence of HCl. This pepsin is produced by the peptic cells. Okay. And now, guys, along with this, what are we also going to see? There are going to be a few more cells which are called as your enteroendocrine cells. So let me just show you some of them. They are going to be present towards the bottom. These are going to be endocrine cells. And now, as the name suggests, the enteroendocrine cells, guys, what are these going to do? These are going to help in production of your hormones and all. Okay, so that way. Okay, so guys, this is the first thing that we need to know with regards to your gastric pit. And guys, once again, remember what is going to happen. These, these cells basically, everything they are going to produce their own stuff, and all that thing is going to come out over here. Okay, and now through this pores, see these pores you can see of the stomach. This is now going to, they are going to release it from here into the stomach like this. Like this, like this. Okay, everybody getting the hang of this thing, guys? Okay, so this is nothing but your gastric juices. Okay, that whatever these are producing, this is nothing but our gastric juice. Okay, guys, just have a look and I will tell you how to remember this thing. Okay, so if you want, I did not mention it out of here. So these are going to produce your gastric hormones and all, basically that way. Okay, everybody good with this thing, guys? So gastric pit and gastric gland is the same thing. Yes, it is almost the same thing. Okay. Okay, so now let me just, I had downloaded one picture for you guys. So let me just show you that picture. Okay, so that you will have a complete idea. So see guys, so in reality, if you're looking at this, the same thing that we have drawn, see guys, it is going to look something of this sort. So see, I told you we are going to have the parietal cells or the oxyntic cells. Okay, they are going to produce your HCl and your intrinsic factor. Okay, so how do I remember this thing, guys? I remember this as POHI. Okay, just like how we have POHI. Okay, you can remember this as that. Or there is one chain of, hotels basically in the US. We call this thing as IHOP. Okay, which is nothing but ulta of POHI. Okay, so you can just remember it in this way. But then this is parietal cells. This is oxyntic cells, HCl, and your intrinsic factor. Okay, mucus cells we don't have to remember because we know they are going to produce mucus only. Now, chief cells. Now we said chief cells or your peptic cells. So let's remember this thing, guys, as pepchi. Like we have Pepsi, Pepchi. Okay, and now the moment we have pep is going to stand for your pepsin. Okay, so pepsin or pepsinogen. Now, guys, why am I asking you to remember it this way is because as we move ahead, you are going to see even more number of cells, and you will see that these cells they will produce their own stuff. So you need to remember them somehow or the other, guys. That is why. So remember parietal cells as POHI or ulta IHOP, and the second one that is your peptic cells as Pepchi. Okay, chalo. Okay, and in your NEET exams, guys, please remember this thing. In your NEET exams, they will keep on asking you, what is the job of these cells? What is the job of parietal cells? What is the other name for these cells? Okay, so you need to know all these names out over here by heart. Okay, so guys, this is what we need to know with regards to your stomach. Okay, so if you want, I'll just once again give you an idea. So if we are talking about the stomach, what are the different layers of the stomach? So from the inside to the outside. Okay, so first so if we are going, okay, either ways you can see. So from the inside, if you look, first thing we are going to see your mucosa. Second one, it is going to be your submucosa. Third, it is going to be your muscularis. And fourth, it is going to be your serosa. Okay, everybody getting this part, guys? Sure, no problem. Okay, now guys, see this what we said. Okay, it is going to be almost exactly like, throughout your entire intestines, it is also going to be the same pattern. But in your ileum, you are going to see a little difference. Okay, now I told you, see these oblique cells, okay, these muscles, these are going to be present only and only in your stomach. Okay, they are not going to be present in these things. Okay, in the other parts of the gut. Okay, so now let me just tell you. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to see is the TS of your ileum, guys. And let's see how is the TS going to be, because here we are going to see a little bit more stuff. Okay, so guys, just to give you a little bit of an idea, okay, this entire thing is going to repeat once again. It is exactly the same thing, but with a little difference. Okay, let me see if I can copy the same thing. Let me just see if I can do it. Okay, so now guys, once again, okay, the basic structure remains exactly the same. Okay, so let me just TS of helium. Okay, the basic structure remains exactly the same, but like I told you guys, what is going to be missing? So these oblique muscles, okay, whatever we had shown, these oblique muscles are not there. Rest everything remains as it is, guys. Okay, so let me see if I can just remove this thing. Yeah, I can. Okay, so see, the only difference is that, okay, the oblique muscles are missing. Rest everything remains exactly the same. Okay, but now guys, let's try to see a little bit more part. Okay, now guys, you are going to see that here, when we talk about, like, on the top of your circular muscles in the submucosa, now here you are going to encounter something more. Now, what are you going to see? You are going to see some Bruner's glands. Okay, now this extra information, whatever, like, it is different, I will box it up, okay, so that you don't have to to get confused. So here we are going to see something that are known as Bruner's glands. Okay, so first thing out over here. Okay, now guys, what happens? You are going to see that we have, see, these villi were there. I mean, this thing were there, like, these folds, right? Now here, what are we going to see? We are going to call them as your villi. Okay, so singular is villus, plural is villi. So let's try to see what is this going to do, guys. Okay, so inside this villi, guys, what happens is you are going to say that we require absorption. And for absorption, greater absorption, you are going to see blood vessels. This is going to be completely laden with blood vessels out over here, guys. They completely laden with blood vessels as well as your lymph vessels, guys. Okay. So, hello, hello. Did someone say something, guys? Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Yeah. There was some, I don't know what, but something happened, I guess. Okay. Okay, so guys, now what is going to happen? Okay, you are going to see that inside this, we are going to have large amounts of your blood vessels. Why? Because we have to absorb all the nutrients from your small intestines. So for that reason, we are going to see blood vessels. Okay, now these can be your capillaries, these can be your fine tubules. Okay, so you are going to see this thing. Second thing we are going to encounter, guys, you are going to encounter your lacteals of the small intestine. These are what, guys? These are nothing but these are your lymph vessels. And these lymph vessels, guys, these are known as lacteals. Okay, so always remember this thing. These are lacteals. And why do we call them as lacteals? Because lacteals in Greek means whitish, milky like. So because these lacteals, they absorb fats, only and only fats, guys. And this, they appear whitish or translucent, right? That is why we call them as lacteals. Okay, but now, guys, what you are going to see, you are going to see that we have this entire pit like structure. Now you are going to see that these pit like structures, we call this thing as your crypts of liver cone. Okay, so guys, new term. Okay, I know there are like new terms coming up, but crypts of liver cone. Okay, so this is what is going to happen. Now, in the crypts of liver cone, guys, what are we going to see? That you are going to have certain cells, and these cells, they are going to produce the intestinal juices, and the intestinal juices, they are going to bring about your digestion. This is how it is going to work, guys. Okay, but now we still need to see a little bit more stuff. Okay, because okay, we need to add a little bit of few things. Now, guys, okay, अरे पहले इधर से तो blood vessels हटा देता हूँ. 1 minute, 1 minute. ये blood vessel. Okay, so these are Bruner's glands. Okay, that you're going to encounter. Okay, so in the okay, चलो ये थोड़ा सा okay, ठीक है. Okay, now guys, what are you going to see? See where we are going to have these Bruner's glands and all running in the same region, guys. You are going to have something very important. Now, what you are going to see some cells which are called as Argentafen cells. Okay. Now, these Argentafen cells, guys, what are they going to do? They are going to produce a hormone called as serotonin. Okay, now serotonin, guys, what is this going to do? This is going to give you that relaxation kind of a feeling as well. Okay, so this is Argentafen cells. Okay, so once again, Argentafen. Okay, what is the job of Argentafen cells? Guys, these are going to produce serotonin, and generally this serotonin is going to give you that feel good kind of feeling, or this is going to make you feel like really sleepy. Like generally what happens, guys, after a nice workout and all, okay, you have this nice feeling, because there are two things, endorphins and serotonin. This serotonin is going to give you a nice, like, relaxed kind of feeling, and it helps you to feel asleep. Okay, so that is the serotonin. Also, on the other side, what is this going to do? This is going to bring about contractions. Okay, contractions of the intestines, because see, you have to show peristalsis. That is why. Now, guys, let's just zoom in all over here. Okay. Okay, so let me just take it. I'll just draw this part down out over here. Okay, so only, so I'll just zoom into this, and then we'll see only the upper thing. Okay, the crypts of liver cone. So now, guys, let's see what has going to happen. So let's say we are going to have cells like this. Okay, now, guys, what are you going to see? That when we have this entire villi. Okay, 1 minute, guys, let me just quickly draw the cells. Okay, so now guys, in this also you are going to see different types of cells. Let's try to see what are the cells. So guys, the first type of cells you're going to encounter, okay, so somewhere out over here, okay, now they're going to be present everywhere, but I'm just showing here. These are called as your enterocytes. Let's just a moment, someone is at the door. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now guys, what happens is, see, we have these enterocytes. Now, what is the job of these enterocytes? Okay, so these enterocytes, guys, they are going to produce antacid. Okay, can any one of you give me who's the natural antacid of the body, guys? Anyone. Who is going to act as the natural antacid of the body? Anybody? No. Guys, it is sodium bicarbonate. Okay, that is the natural antacid of the body. Okay, so just to make you remember, NaHCO3. Okay, but now, so these are going to be your enterocytes. But now, guys, as you come down a little bit, okay, apart from these enterocytes, you are also going to see that there are going to be stem cells, guys, stem cells. Okay, so stem cells, guys, stem cells are the one which can give rise to your entire organ. Or if you have these, like let's say, these days you have those stem cell therapies and all, they collect the umbilical cord blood and they keep it, they store it, and they say now that whenever required, if you're suffering from any disease, we'll retrieve those blood cells, I mean the umbilical cord cells, and then they are going to inject it, to the damaged part. So what will happen is that damaged part can recover again. So this is like, some of the most important thing about your stem cells, guys. Stem cells can be used in various purposes, guys. Okay, so really booming field at this moment. Okay, so now guys, this is going to be our stem cells. Okay, and finally, guys, now when we come down a little bit, okay, what are we going to see? we are going to see some other types of cells. Now, these types of cells, guys, these are called as Paneth cells. Okay, towards the lower portions. So you are going to have these Paneth cells. Now, what are these Paneth cells going to do? Okay, so guys, these Paneth cells, they are going to produce lysozyme. Okay, lysozyme. Can anybody tell me why do we require a lysozyme? See, generally lysozyme is seen in your eyes, in your tears, because it is going to kill your germs. It is going to help in breakdown of your germs. Why do we require lysozyme inside your stomach? Inside your stomach intestines. See, guys, the reason for this is we require this so that, okay, whenever you have, see, food, okay, food is going to consist of all the plant cells and animal cells, all right? So I need to break them down. And what is this lysozyme? Lysozyme is really responsible for breaking down your cell wall. So that is why we need this lysozyme, so that now you can break down the cells and you can absorb the nutrition from within them. That is why we have these Paneth cells. Okay, everybody getting this part, guys? Sure, no issues. Okay, so this is what we need to know with regards to your entire TS, guys. Okay, so once again, just have a look, guys. This is something very new, but something very, very important. Just see if anybody has any doubts, quickly ask me, guys. My question to you guys is, guys, has it ever happened to you, like, I don't know, like, you guys are too young, but has it ever happened that, when you have some spicy food and all, or let's say you are having too much amounts of chilies, garlic, or ginger, and then suddenly, when you have it after some time, or maybe like, the evening or that night, you feel very weak, tired, or you feel like, you have like, you are very sleepy, you have no idea what is happening, suddenly, you feel very different. Has it ever happened to you, anyone? Only after having extremely spicy food, huh? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so if anybody has faced it, guys, once again, it is because of the same reason. Okay, so because the moment you have the excess amounts of your spicy food and all, guys, it is going to result into the excessive release of your serotonin. And the moment you have serotonin, guys, then what is going to happen? You are going to feel sleepy, drowsy. Then you feel that, like, what is happening, like, you don't understand stuff and all. That is the effect of the serotonin. Okay, someone is asking me Bruner's gland. Yes. Okay, so what are Bruner's gland basically? So see, किधर गया? See, किधर गया? Brunner. So see, Bruner's gland. See, I have shown it in the submucosa. Okay, remember they are first present in the submucosa region. What are they going to produce? See, these Bruner's glands. Okay, अभी इधर जगह नहीं है, ठीक है, इधर बना देता हूँ. Okay, they produce something called as mucin. Okay, so it has this alkaline fluid. Okay, it produces a little alkaline fluid, and that alkaline fluid contains a compound called as mucin. Now, what is the job? The job is to protect the lining of the intestines from the stomach. That is uh, that is the idea. अभी इधर जगह नहीं है, I'll just put it a little out over here. This is alkaline fluid. It helps to protect mucosa from the acidity. Okay, so something like this. So we have like, HCl and all. So I don't want the cells to be like degraded immediately, because in your stomach the pH is going to sometimes go down to pH 2, which is a really, really low pH, guys. So that way. Okay. The oblique muscles are present in duodenum and jejunum. No, we will see only in your stomach. Oblique muscles are a characteristic of only the stomach. Why are we seeing tears of your ileum? Because see, ileum is see, when we talk about your duodenum and jejunum, duodenum is going to be like this, jejunum is also going to be like this. But then what is ileum? Ileum is going to show you folds, 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 and that is why we studied ileum. Rest everything is going to remain the same. This is the only change, guys. Okay, so guys, kindly have a look at this thing. This is like a really important diagram from your this thing. And remember, in your exam, sorry, you are going to get ample amounts of questions on this part, guys. Okay, so both these diagrams you need to remember by hook or by crook, guys. Okay, and let me just see if I have I downloaded one more picture, but I am not getting it. I am not able to get it actually, guys. I downloaded one picture for you. Okay, anyways, guys, have a look. Let me just search if I have that. If I get it somewhere, I immediately. Okay, okay, okay. I've got it. Yes, yeah. So see, guys, here I. 1 minute. तो 1 minute. So see, this is what we are doing, guys. Okay, so once again, see, we have the goblet cells, we have the enterocytes out over here, we have the pant cells, we have the stem cells. Okay, so the same thing that we are talking about. So that. Okay, everybody all right with this, guys? Sure, no issues. If you want, just have a look. Goblet cells are the mucus producing cells, the mucus cells. See, there's we have shown, I told you, see, kidhar gaya wo? Mucous cells, mucous cells. See, these are the ones who are going to be present throughout. Okay, so these mucous cells are only known as goblet cells. Okay, so guys, with this we are actually done with the first part of the chapter, where we have, like, everything related to your anatomy, structures and all. That is what we need to study. Okay, but now the next part of the chapter is going to be completely dependent upon digestion, meaning it's going to have all those different kinds of your enzymatic reactions, and how the food is going to be broken down into the smaller pieces, and how is it going to be absorbed into your blood vessels. That is the next process that we are going to see, guys. Okay, so let me know once you're ready, guys. Okay, so we will just move on to the next part then. Okay, okay, everybody all right, guys? Guys, quickly say yes or no, guys. Come on, quickly, quickly, so that we can move ahead, guys. Okay, sure. So guys, now the next thing that we are going to go is we are going to move into your digestion. Okay, now how exactly digestion is really going to occur? What really happens out over there? So that is what we are going to be studying. Okay, sure. So now let's try to see this part, guys. Okay, so now guys, during your digestion, you are going to see various reactions. Okay, various reactions. So the entire digestion process. Okay, but now guys, how is the best way to remember this thing? See, you always need to have, wait, what happened? See, you need to have this diagram, okay, and you need to see where exactly this thing is going to be taking place. Okay, so okay, so yeah, so let's imagine, see, this is our diagram, and we are going to see that at different places, different places, different things happen. Okay, chalo. So now let's try to see, guys, the first thing that is going to happen. Guys, the first thing that is going to happen is in your mouth region. It's going to be out over here. Okay, so first thing in the mouth, the moment you start having food, guys, okay, what is the first thing? You are going to take the food, you're going to put it into your mouth, and you're going to start chewing it. Now while you are chewing it, what happens? The saliva is going to get mixed with the food. And now, guys, if you remember, I had told you, in your saliva, what are we going to see? In your saliva, we have this enzyme called as ptyalin, or this is also known as salivary amylase. Okay, so the first reaction, guys, it is going to take place in your mouth region only. But now, in the mouth, guys, what are you also going to see? I told you, see, first you're going to start chewing your food. And the second thing that you're going to see is mastication. Now, what is mastication, guys? Mastication meaning you are going to mix the food with the saliva to convert it into a soft mass or bolus. That way. Okay, but now what is the reaction that we are going to see? So guys, please pay attention. Please pay attention. So the first thing that is going to happen is that this ptyalin, it is going to act upon starch. So starch in the presence of ptyalin, this is converted into maltose. Okay. Let me just say this is going to be your tylen. Okay, now guys, you can write either of the names. Either you can write tylen or you can write salivary amylase. I'm just writing tylen out over here. And guys, when is this going to happen? It pH of 6.8. Okay, so guys, in your saliva pH is 6.8. Okay, so that way. But now guys, my question to you is, has it ever happened that you have taken just plain rice, okay, plain rice, and you have, like, chewed it, 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 right? And slowly after a little while, guys, you start feeling as if it is a little on the sweeter side. Suddenly it starts tasting sweet, right? Now why does this thing happen? Guys, the reason for this is because, see, your rice is full of starch, right? And this starch, when it is acted upon by tylen, that is the enzyme present in your saliva, immediately you will see that this gets converted into maltose. But what is maltose? Maltose is nothing but a sugar, guys. And what is this going to give you? Immediately this is going to give you a sweet taste. This is what is going to happen, guys. Okay, so the first reaction is going to be seen in your mouth region only. Okay, everybody all right with this thing? So first is mouth. Okay, but now once you have, once you have finished chewing the food, guys, what is the second thing that you're going to do? Immediately you are now going to swallow. Okay, so this swallowing process, guys, what do we call this thing? Swallowing is also called as deglutition. Okay, this is also known as deglutition, where you are going to, like, you're going to put the food into your esophagus. Okay, now let's try to see in your esophagus, are you going to see any reaction? No, guys, remember, esophagus does not show you any kind of reaction at all. Okay, so let me just show you. So we are into your esophagus. Okay, or I should show it here, I guess. Okay, so see, we have the esophagus right out over here. So in your esophagus, are we going to see any reaction? No, guys, esophagus is not going to help in your digestion at all. What is it going to do? It only conducts food. That's it. It only conducts food from the mouth to the stomach. Okay, and because it is just going to do that, guys, it does not produce enzymes. So it doesn't produce enzymes, and because it is not producing enzymes, guys, it doesn't help in digestion. Okay, fine. Shalom. But now let's try to move ahead. Now, after the esophagus, guys, now we are going to go into your stomach. Okay, but yes, in your stomach, yes, guys, we are now going to see a lot many things happening. Okay, so now we are in the stomach region. Okay, so right now, what did we see, guys? We said that, oh, in the stomach, we are going to produce your digestive juice. What is that digestive juice? It is your gastric juice, guys. So the stomach is going to show you the presence of gastric juice. But now, what is this gastric juice going to be made up of? So, guys, you know what? See, sometimes, I'll let you know. Sometimes you get these burps, okay, and suddenly when you burp, suddenly some, sour fluid comes into your mouth. I'm damn sure it must have happened with every one of you. Or let's imagine when you have vomited. Okay, suddenly your mouth becomes a little dry, or it becomes a little like sour kind of thing, right? I'm sure everybody must have experienced that. What is that, guys? That is nothing but your gastric juices, the ones which were there in the stomach, they come up into your mouth, guys. So what is this gastric juice actually made up of? Let's try to see. So guys, this is going to be made up of, first, we have water. Second, we have mucus. Now, mucus is always going to be present. Third, we are going to have salts, very few amounts of salts. Then, guys, now we are going to see dilute HCl, and this is going to give it that sour kind of taste, guys. But now, after this guy, now we are going to see two important things out over here. One, we have pepsinogen. Guys, now this pepsinogen is actually inactive, and this gets converted into pepsin in the presence of this HCl, which is active enzyme. Okay, so one is pepsin and the second one is renin. So guys, we have second one which is produced as prorenin. Okay, so first I will just write down prorenin and then it is converted into renin. So once again in the presence of dilute HCl. So prorenin, and this gets converted into renin. Okay, but now guys, let's try to talk about what is the job of this dilute HCl first. Okay, because this is going to be very, very important. Now guys, my question to you is, see, you must have been having food from all random places, like, sometimes good places, sometimes bad places. But let's say even if you have food from one bad place, guys, do you always suffer from dysentery, diarrhea, or loose motions or anything like that? No, right? It is not that way. See, guys, you must have had pani puri from so many places, but you will never suffer that way immediately, unless and until it is not like, the quality is like really, really bekar. So, who is the one who's going to protect you from all the germs that are entering into your body? Guys, the first instance is done by your dilute HCl. And that is why, guys, this dilute HCl is known as your local defense mechanism. So what does this do, guys? This dilute HCl, let me just put down some of the uses of this dilute HCl. Okay, so the first thing that it does, guys, is it stops the action of ptyalin. Okay, stops the action of ptyalin. So it stops that salivary amylase. Second thing, guys, this is the one which is going. Oh, just a moment. Okay, so now the next thing that it is going to do is it is going to kill all the germs. Okay, whatever germs that are there. Okay, most of the times it is going to be killed. Okay, so it kills germs. Okay, third thing, guys, what is it going to do? Now, this is also going to help in softening of your food. Okay, because see, when the food is there in the stomach is like churning and churning and churning. This softens the food, and at the same time, guys, it also breaks down the food. Okay, next. Okay, afterwards, now guys, the next two things, they are going to be very important. Okay, the next important thing is, guys, this is going to activate. It activates enzymes. Let's try to see. So first thing, what is it going to do? It is going to activate your prorenin. Let's try to see what exactly happens out over here. Okay, so let me just put it this way. Okay, so guys, what happens is, first of all, we have this prorenin. This prorenin, this is going to be inactive, guys. Okay, now what happens? The moment it comes in contact with your dilute HCl, guys, immediately this is going to be converted into renin. Okay, and renin is what? Renin is your active enzyme. Okay, so prorenin is converted into renin. But now, what is this renin going to do? Guys, this renin, it works on your milk proteins. Okay, now these milk proteins, we also call them as casein. Milk proteins or casein. Now, guys, see, these milk proteins, they are actually soluble in the milk. So renin is going to act on them and it converts this. 1 minute. Okay, so in the presence of renin, now these milk proteins, that is the soluble casein, is converted into insoluble paracasein, guys. Okay, so casein is converted into paracasein. Okay, and paracasein is insoluble. But what are these, guys? These are nothing but your proteins only. See, whether it is milk protein, this is also paracasein is also protein. But now this can be acted upon by your pepsin. Okay, so let's try to see what happens next. So the next thing is, guys, just like how it activated your prorenin, same way this activates your pepsinogen. Okay, so let's try to see what happens. So guys, first thing, we are going to have this pepsinogen. Pepsinogen in the presence of your dilute HCl, guys. Once again, what is this going to get converted into? Immediately, this converts into your pepsin. Pepsinogen, guys, this was inactive. Pepsin, this is active. Okay, and now what happens, guys? This pepsin, this is going to work upon your proteins. I told you pepsin has to work on proteins. So let's try to see the next reaction, guys. So now you are going to see proteins. Okay, they are now going to be converted into smaller proteins. But smaller proteins we have named. Okay, so proteins in the presence of pepsin, these are converted into smaller proteins. But what are these smaller proteins called? We call them as proteoses and peptones. Smaller proteins are proteoses and peptones. So guys, let me just give you an idea what happens. So see, let's say this is your protein. Okay, this is a huge protein. Now what happens when this is going to be broken down? It gets broken down into this. Okay, small protein. These are nothing but your proteoses and peptones. Okay, now these proteoses and peptones, guys, these are further going to be broken down, okay, into your smaller ones. These are called as your polypeptides. Now actually you can call these also polypeptides, but for you we'll call these as polypeptides. Now these polypeptides will further be broken down into dipeptides, like this. Dipeptide meaning only two protein molecules out over there, and then this is going to be converted into single amino acid, guys. This is how that entire progression is. So proper protein, proteoses and peptones, then we are going to have your polypeptides, then we are going to have dipeptides, and finally amino acids. This is that entire process we need to capture, guys. Okay, everybody getting this thing? Sure, no problem, guys. Okay, so once again, guys, what we will do is we will stop over here for the day. Next class, guys, don't miss the next class because we are going to be doing several other reactions out over there. So guys, roughly there are going to be around 21 reactions which are present in this chapter. Okay, so 21 odd. So make sure that you be here for the next class. Otherwise, you will not understand what exactly is happening. Okay, everybody all right, guys? What is the difference between proteoses and peptones? The formation of your different this thing, the side groups, that is the difference. So a little bit of your texture meaning the arrangement of your molecules is different. That is the only difference. Okay, everybody all right? Chala, so we'll stop away for the day and I'll see you in the next class, guys. Till then, take care. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye.